But we are starting off with a look outside on this Friday night, about 61 degrees, looking out from our Rose City Skycam at the downtown Portland waterfront after a beautifully warm and sunny day. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Christine Pitawanich here with meteorologist Rod Hill, who's got a first look at your weather impact forecast. Rod, so excited about the weather this Memorial Day weekend.
Going to be nice. Yeah, good evening. I'm in our chief meteorologist Matt Safino enjoying a long holiday weekend. We did do it. We hit 70. I was down at the Waterfront City Fair this evening live, and at the time it was only 68. It looked like maybe we wouldn't get to 70. The fact that Portland did make it to 70 in the 5 o'clock hour this afternoon. First time we've gotten out of the 60s since May 10th. It's been about a couple of weeks. Salem also 70, Corvallis 71. The Dalles hit 75. It was 63 over in Tillamook. It is a wonderful clear night out there. 56 degrees is the current temperature at McNary Field down in Salem. Here's that Road City shot we just showed you. The temperature at PDX just now sliding into the 50s. We will stay clear tonight, and it will be basically perfectly clear when you get up tomorrow morning. Your early morning numbers about 7:30 will be maybe in the 40s for lows, but by 7:30 starting to warm up to about 50 degrees. And with a sunny day, we could hit 80 tomorrow. Now, the weekend forecast shows changes on Sunday into Monday. We'll have that for you coming up in just a bit. For now, Christine, back to you.
Okay, thank you, Rod. Now to some breaking news we have out of Washington. The U.S. Coast Guard is searching for a missing 15-year-old boy off Long Beach tonight. At this point, we don't have many details, but we do know he was swimming with two adults before sunset when they ran into some sort of trouble. Authorities then rescued both adults, but the teen has not been found. As of last check, the Coast Guard has a helicopter overhead and a rescue boat crew in the water conducting the search. We'll bring you updates as they become available. And tonight, a quick update to Oregon's special election, where it appears a measure to make upgrades at Mount Hood Community College is expected to pass. On your screen right now are the latest numbers for that bond measure. The yeses have it by about 130 or so votes. The Oregonian reporting tonight that's outside the 0.2% margin that triggers an automatic recount. Although ballots are still being received and counted, so we will keep an eye out for those final numbers for you. But also a reminder, you can check for real-time updates anytime at KGW.com or our KGW mobile app. Let's get you caught up now on some of tonight's other headlines. Gresham police arrested a woman they believe is responsible for shooting and grazing a man and causing damage to apartments in the area around 4:30 yesterday afternoon. This is video from Northeast 181st and Pacific Court. You can see broken glass damage to an apartment complex. When officers arrived, they found the man with a non-life-threatening injury. The woman was arrested a short time later. The U.S. Justice Department has reached a deal with Boeing to avoid prosecuting the plane maker over the 737 MAX crashes that killed 346 people. The company must now invest more than $1 billion into its safety program and pay victims' families $445 million. Some of the families are outraged.
We don't want money. We want accountability. We want to know who was responsible for these crashes.
Back in 2021, Boeing reached a settlement that shielded it from prosecution for 3 years. That settlement was set to expire just 2 days after a door panel blew out of a 737 MAX 9 over Portland last year. Boeing has not yet commented on the deal. And Portland City workers have reached a tentative agreement with the city, avoiding a strike that was authorized yesterday. The union represents about 800 professional staff across the city government. Yesterday, they voted overwhelmingly to authorize a strike that would have started next month. But after 11 hours of mediation, the union and the city reached an agreement calling off the strike. Details of the agreement have not yet been released. Oregon lawmakers are voicing their thoughts on the president's massive domestic policy bill passed in the House yesterday. If it passes the Senate and becomes law, the impact would be widespread, potentially dealing a blow to programs that serve Oregon families in need. Celine Stevens has the story.
The cruelty is the point, I think, is really clear.
By a slim margin, House Republicans passed President Donald Trump's mega tax bill Thursday.
On this vote, the yeas are 215, the nays are 214, with one answering present. The bill is passed.
The bill also getting support from Cliff Bentz, Oregon's only Republican congressman. The bill honing in on a range of topics, including military spending, immigration enforcement, Medicaid, SNAP, and more.
Today, the House has passed generational, truly nation-shaping legislation to reduce spending and permanently lower taxes for families and job creators, secure the border. House Democrats voted against all of that.
Congresswoman Maxine Dexter speaking on the impacts to SNAP while at the Oregon Food Bank, saying it supports over 700,000 Oregonians.
The details of the bill would expand harsh work requirements for adults up to age 64, up from current age 55. And parents of school-aged children have to work.
The bill would cut $290 billion from the food aid program. The impact to Oregonians anticipated to be widespread.
The bill would cut SNAP benefits by 21%. Currently, the average SNAP benefit is just $6.20 a day. It would cut it down to just $4.80 a day.
SNAP participation is used to determine eligibility for everything from summer food programs, WIC, child care programs, and more.
Medicaid also expected to see almost $700 billion in cuts, according to the Congressional Budget Office.
And somewhere between 150 and 200,000 Oregonians could be without health care. And, to Suzanne's point, that means people could die, right? They won't have access to preventative care.
But some Republicans, like Cliff Bentz, on a prior episode of Straight Talk, stated otherwise.
It's not going to be the destruction of the program.
Congresswoman Suzanne Bonamici and Andrea Salinas visited the Newburgh Wellness Center to talk more about the impacts of these cuts.
The reason that they're trying to justify these cuts is that they can continue tax breaks that primarily help very wealthy people and wealthy corporations.
The impact on the state trying to make up for the lack in funds would also be damaging.
It's a threshold, and so we have shifted the threshold, and that is going to impact other benefits, because if people now are less likely to receive it because of federal investments, we also are now shifting that to the state, and the state is not going to be able to make up the difference.
Celine Stevens, KGW News.
Meantime, councils and commissions across the Portland metro area continue to work on their budgets for the upcoming fiscal year. Leaders in Multnomah County proposed various cuts to fill a $77 million shortfall. Alma McCarty takes a closer look now at one of the programs on the chopping block. Alma.
Yeah, Christine, it's the Commons Law Center's tenant eviction defense program. The team there likens it to an emergency room for eviction, taking in hundreds of clients with a wide variety of legal needs. We spoke to the executive director about what's at stake.
We need to keep the people that are in housing housed.
When facing eviction, Cameron Graham found many people didn't know what to do or just couldn't get the help.
It was upward of 85% of them weren't able to get an attorney or get any sort of legal advice before court. There just simply aren't enough resources for everybody.
So, in response, the Commons Law Center started a mobile legal clinic, the Tenant Eviction Defense Program, working with tenants right outside the courthouse as they wait for their first appearance.
So anything from payment plans to setting trials, stipulated agreements, whatever the client wants. But our main focus is on helping people avoid eviction or facing future eviction.
The program, funded by Multnomah County, is on track to prevent just over 1,400 evictions by the end of next month. But after only a year, their funding could be pulled.
The $580,000 completely funds our tenant eviction programs. So if we lose this funding, we lose the tenant eviction program.
Graham said as much during a budget hearing earlier this week.
The cost for us to help one person avoid eviction is $396 per person, not per hour. Compare that to the $1,832 for the cost of a basic shelter bed with no support services.
Chair Jessica Vega Peterson responding to the proposed cuts by stating, in part, there is a likely and real chance that the eviction prevention legal services will receive additional resources in the budget we adopt in June. She went on to say, with significant decreases in emergency rent assistance, we will need to move to preventing evictions before the court process as much as possible.
And worth mentioning that at this point in the budget process, none of these decisions are final. Over the next 3 weeks, Multnomah County commissioners will be hearing from the community on proposed reductions, with a final budget set to be voted on June 12th. Christine.
Difficult decisions ahead. Thank you for your report, Alma. Now to a special dinner in Southeast Portland that united people from all walks of life. Catherine Cook joined them tonight as they shared where they came from and where they're trying to go.
In Southeast Portland.
So the green is for your dessert and the white is for your meal.
The tables were set.
You're welcome. Enjoy.
Dinner was served.
Hope that someone gets my...
But here,
it was so much fun.
It wasn't just food that gave people strength.
It's a feeling of togetherness and acceptance. It's like a large family.
Call it the bread of life.
It alleviates us and them.
And without us and them, all that's left is we.
We're present, we're within our community. These are our neighbors.
Some neighbors are housed. Some live on the street. Others are somewhere in between.
Just because you're houseless doesn't mean that you're living less than what the other people are living.
I think we have more in common than differences myself.
And understanding that is the point of this.
Meaningful connections and recognizing the humanity in everyone around us.
Ryan Sari is with Cultivate Initiatives. The nonprofit works to empower people on the margins through services and support in East Portland. Every year, they put on this eat and greet dinner on 122nd and Burnside, a corner rife with crime and people facing personal struggles.
And whatever has brought them to their current place is not defining who they are.
It's what Kat Laurie tries to remember as she rests her head inside a tent each night.
There before the grace of God goes we. Any of us could end up homeless. Any of us could end up in a lot of the situations that these people are going through. Addictions, addictions, all that stuff.
Everyone here understands that a little bit more now.
We definitely need more of this.
After dining together under the same roof. In Southeast Portland, Catherine Cook, KGW News.